So first thing is the expectation from the end user or the expectation from the customer is growing. That means previously the customers want to see only some type of data which is useful for them to take a business decision. But now, since because of the competition or because of the growing world, they need more information to actually take the effective decision on their reports. They want more information on their reports. So when they want more information on the report means we have to capture, or there should be more data in the source system as well in order to provide what the customer wants. So in order to satisfy the customer needs and customer requirements in effective decision making, we need to have a lot of source data being captured, which is actually leading to the volume and variety grow in the data. So how do we handle the data? Talend is very much capable of processing huge data, and it can process the variety of data also. It can process the data of text files, CSV files, Excel sheets, XML files, any kind of files it will be able to provide because it is having those many support connectors there. And the second thing is in any other data warehousing tools or ETL tools, what happens is when you want to actually implement some logic, there is no such feature or advantage of splitting the logic into bits and pieces and developing them in separately and then connecting it. But in Talend, what happens is Talend have a very good feature of getting the logic splitted into multiple small logics and then connecting them with the subjob OK. So what happens is the advantage of this is if in case in the future if you want to have any kind of enhancement or patchwork that needs to be done for that entire logic, for that logic, you don't need to actually look at the entire code, unlike in the other ETL tools. Here you can just go to that particular part and do the enhancement so that your other part of the code will not be touched in Talend. But whereas the other ETL tools, since you are going to build the logic at the same place, then you have to do a lot of impact analysis to make the change before making the change, and after making the change you just have to make sure that the change is not implemented the other areas of the data. And the other ETL tools are a little bit expensive when compared with Talend tool. So that is the biggest advantage for the small and mid-sized mid-term companies to invest in the money and get the things done. So they will be having less investment on the technology that they are looking for. Any questions, Shekhar?
Can you please describe about Pentaho and Talend? Because Pentaho is also open source, right?
Yes.
The main difference is for cutting the pieces and processing and mapping and combine it later. So yes. Is there any other features for the Talend mainly for
Talend
Bigdata?
Talend is having one component called T-map. Okay, where whatever the logic, whatever the summary, you can do anything there. The T-map form. That is the biggest advantage of Talend tool. Okay, the T-map component will do a lot of things in it, and it can be used as many places as you want for any logic that you want to implement. Okay, you want to filter out the data? Yes, T-map can do that. You want to calculate some values? Yes, T-map can do that. You want to convert something? Yes, T-map can do that. And we have T-Java as well. T-Java is a component where you can write some Java code, and then because if something is not possible with the components, right, then you have an additional feature of writing the Java code and having them having that logic implemented. Did they answer your question, Shekhar?
Yeah. Is it a core Java? Is there any required for the core Java for learning the Talend course?
No, not required. Not required. You just need to have one printing statement. How to print the statement? That's it. Okay. Because see, a lot of the things are possible with the components, but there are some advanced concepts. Okay, where writing the data to services. or reading the data from the web services. Such type
Okay.
of scenarios we need to have the Java code, because Talend is used as a data integration as well as the ETL tool, right?
Yes.
So in some cases, or 5% of the cases out of 100 may need Java coding. Okay.
Hello.
So any other questions before I move to the next slide, Shekhar?
Okay, no issues.
Okay. So Talend is a leading developer for open source data integration systems. Okay, it makes a powerful ETL and data management technology. That means it can be used for the ETL and it can be used for the data management technology, which is nothing but the data integration. Okay, data integration is nothing but transferring the data from one environment to another environment, or one system to another system, by making some kind of changes, or transformations or aggregations to the data. Unified repository for storing and reusing the metadata. That means the jobs developed by you can be accessed by me. Okay, that means in the open source version as well as the licensed version. Okay, with the feature of having that export and import items, I'll be able to work on the job that you have started and started working on this. Like, you developed FPS, and I was asked to work from there on. I can take that job and I can do the development. Yeah, and another thing is that if you want to connect to a database, you have to give the username, password, database, schema, and all, right? So you may have to, let us suppose you have to access 5 to 10 tables from the same database in different places of the job. So what are you going to do? Ideally speaking, you have to establish the connection each and every time, then give the table name and get the data. But Talend has a feature of establishing a connection only once in the repository section and making use of that connection everywhere, wherever it is required. That means you don't need to define the connection details every time when you are trying to access the database. Define the connection once, keep it aside, and use it whenever required. And the broadest data connectivity support for any data integration platform. That means Talend is having a lot of components which can be using which you will be able to connect to the different source systems. You can connect to the SAP system. You can connect to Cassandra. You can connect to HDFS. You can connect to Oracle database. You can connect to SQL server. There are lot of components, okay, using which you will be able to connect to the different source systems. Any questions, Shekhar?
No, no issues.
So Talend was founded in 2005, and there are two folks, Diad and Bonan, who developed this open source integration, and then 2006 they have started their first product with the name Talend Open Studio, and from that point onwards it's growing, and a lot of downloads have been happening. And the Talend is available in two types of products. One is no cost data management solution. That means you don't need to pay any money for this. This is Talend Open Studio. That is what TOS stands for, Talend Open Studio, where you can log into talend.com site and then get the latest version of the Talend code for data integration. And the second thing is subscription-based enterprise data management solutions, which means you have to pay some money to the Talend, and then you will be getting a license file as well as the licensed version of the Talend, which we call as Talend Integration Suite. Okay. So now what is the difference between these two? What are the benefits that I get with the Talend Integration Studio? Okay, instead of buying this, instead of the Open Studio. Yeah. So these are the advantages. These are the differences between having the Talend Open Studio and the Talend Integration Suite. Okay. What happens is Talend Open Studio is no cost version of the Talend. That means you don't need to pay any money. Integration Suite is a licensed version of the Talend. Okay. And limited number of components. That means the components that you will be having when compared with the Talend Integration Suite will be comparatively a little lesser. And jobs developed can't be scheduled using schedulers. like in the enterprise version, you will be having an option of scheduling the jobs at the specified time. That means you can develop a job and you can schedule it as and when required in the talent administration center. Okay, and it's a single user development studio. That means if you install Open Studio on your system, you are going to be the whole and sole user of it. No other guy can access it when you are accessing it. But in the talent licensed version, right, you'll be getting different studios, whereas they are all grouped as under a single license file. Yeah. Any questions here, Shekhar?
No issues.
You understand, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So coming to the next part is very much important part is a talent architecture. Okay, this is the talent architecture. It's a client server architecture. So before I speak about this architecture, I just want to give you some information about how the talent installation and configuration will go through. Then I'll be able to explain you about the different components in the talent architecture. So what happens is there will be a guy called talent administrator. So he knows how to install and configure the talent licensed version. So what happens is when you pay money to the talent, they will be giving you one license file as well as the set of zip files. Zip files is nothing but it's a multiple component. They will be having multiple components. Those multiple components are these things. Now what happens is talent administrator will do the installation either on a Windows operating system or in a Linux operating system. Okay. But when he is doing the installation, he has to make sure that in Windows he should do the installation as with the administrator privileges, or if it's going to be in Linux or Unix, it should be a root user. That means he will be having all the permissions for the installation and setting up the paths and all. Once the installation is completed, he has to open a web browser, and in the web browser he has to type one URL for the configuration purpose. So once the installation is completed, next thing is going to be the configuration. In the configuration, he has to open a web browser. In the web browser, he has to type one URL. That URL can be formed like this. The URL is nothing but http://server name. Server name is nothing but the server in which we have installed this talent administration, talent integration suite. And 8080 and AMC are by default, they are common. That means 8080 is the port number and AMC is nothing but activity monitoring console. So this is the by default username and password for the license version for the first time. So you can make use of them and log in here, then do the configuration. So as an administrator, licensed version of the talent should be installed first and then configured first. So it's configured next. So once the installation and configuration is done, then administrator will talk to developers and he will give the developers an executable and username and password. That executable is nothing but it's a studio. This is how the executable looks like. Okay, this is how the executable looks like. This will be given by the administrator and he will be giving a username and password as well as along with one executable. That executable is nothing but the studio. So when you double click on the studio, what are you going to do is, when you double click that executable, you have to give the username and password in it. Then it will open the studio. So am I clear, Shekhar? First installation, then configuration, then as a developer you will be given one executable to open the studio and username and password which should be given in the studio. Is this clear?
Oh, yes. Yes, go on.
Yeah. So now what happens is, now we'll come to the architecture. Okay. So the installation, the administrator will do the installation and the configuration. This is SVN server. This is command line server. And this is the studio. And this is the web browser. So what happens is, when you do the installation is nothing but installation is nothing but taking the zip files and executing the given execute for installation of these components. you will be given one job server. Okay, just when I say job server, don't think that it's a different server. It's a component name. It's a component name. It's not a server. It's a component name. And command line, that's a component name. Okay, so you will be installing command line, job server, activity monitoring console, database, all these things. Okay, as a root user in Linux or as an administrator in the Windows. Once the installation is completed, you will go to the web browser, and in the web browser you will configure. You will configure means the configuration is nothing but you will introduce these components to each other. Meet Mr. Execution Server, meet Mr. Command Line Server, meet Mr. SVN Server. His role is this one and his this. All this information you will be giving here. Once you give here, this information will be saved in the server where you did the installation, and this setup is good to go and it will be ready to use. Now, like I said, when administrator will give the username and password and an executable, right? This is the studio. In this studio, you will give the username and password, and when you give username and password and when you save it, the authorization will be checked here, whether you are a valid user or not. Yes, you are a valid user because administrator only gave you the username and password. So you are a valid user. So when you are a valid user, the Talend Studio will be opening for you, and then you will be able to see the screen for the development. Now let us suppose you did the development and you saved some work of yours. You developed a job and you just saved it. Now what happens is when you save a job, one request will go to this SVN server. That means whatever the changes that you are going to make in the studio, when you save it, one request will go to SVN server. This SVN server will store the project metadata. Means Shekhar has developed a job. Okay, so how it is saved? Shekhar job name is A, and he has used some of the components there, and he has given the connection details of this database, and he is taking the output into a file. So this is the information that you have given in a job. That information, which is project metadata, will be saved in the SVN server when you click on save button in the studio. But this SVN server is a smart guy. He will not accept like that. He will go and check with the command. Shekhar asked me to save some information. Can I save it or not? So command line server, what it will do is it will check for the whether this guy is a valid user or not. Yes, Shekhar is a valid user. Now what happens is one communication will send back saying that yes, I know Shekhar very well. He has been given a license. So just save information whatever he saves in the studio. Then SVN server will save that information. Remember, SVN server is not part of the license file, that zip file that is being provided by Talend. This is the open source version. You can use Visual SVN or Tortoise SVN. SVN is nothing but subversion where you will maintain the branches and different folder structures of the projects. Okay, when you are dealing with huge project in a big domain, then you may have to maintain the different branches. Nothing but you have to maintain a single job, which is the latest version, which is called as integrity of the jobs. In that case, SVN server will come, and that too it will be very beneficial if you are dealing with licensed version of the Talend. Okay, so as soon as you save some job, the SVN server will take that job and it will keep it with it. That means it will save the project metadata. Shekhar, any questions or confusion or clear?
Clear, no issues.
Okay. So, and this is a web browser where you can create the users, configure the Talend for the first time, and you can create the projects and assign the users to the projects and give the authorization levels on the projects. Everything can be done here. Now we have two servers, execution servers. So what happens is in the web browser you can schedule the jobs also. Okay, when you are scheduling the jobs means you want one job to run at 8 p.m. every day once the working hours are completed. Now what happens is this command line server will assign one of these guys, okay, there is a job scheduled by Shekhar at 8 p.m. Please go and execute it. Remember it. Execution server or job server's task is to wait for that time, and when 8 p.m. comes, then it will go and execute the job in web browser. That means whatever the jobs that you are trying to execute, either by scheduling or at the instant run also. In the instant run means when you're developing something, you develop something and you want to test it, right? You will be doing the unit testing, right? So at that point of time also you need to run the job. So in a licensed version, at any point of time for the job execution server will come into picture and it will execute the job. And this database is nothing but, this is the H2 database. H2 database will come with the licensed version of the Talend. Okay. It's an inbuilt copy in the license version itself. Database name is H2 database. This H2 database basically used to store the admin metadata. That means this is the guy who is commanding or who is leading all these components, right? So this guy also needs to store the information about all these folks, right? So that information should be saved in the database. The database is admin metadata. That is H2 database, which will save the administrator related metadata like users, rights, projects, job execution times and monitorings, etc. everything. This is the architecture. Talend Administration Center is a center of the whole architecture, and it's a client server architecture. Any questions, Shekhar?
No issues.
Sorry?
No issues.
Okay. And coming to the course content, this is the course content where I used to provide training on 3 different things: basics, enterprise, and administration. Basics is only speaking about the data integration, and enterprise is also speaking about something, how to schedule the jobs in the administrator, how to create the users and all. And the enterprise administration is purely based on the installation. No development will be discussed there, only installations part. Yeah. And these are the learning objects. Learning objects are nothing but how to create a job, how to run a job, how to transform the job, how to create metadata. These are all the information that we are going to see throughout the classes. How to create context variables, how to create projects and join the tables, how do we work with the web services, and this is the administration side. How do we create how do we use the parallel executions, and how do we perform the monitoring the job activities, and how to use the SVN branches. And this is about the installation part, where we do the installation and project management and other stuff. Any questions, Shekhar?
May I know the duration of the course?
It is 15 to 20 days, Shekhar. Yeah, 1 day each, 1 hour each day.
Okay, and what about the practicals and the installations and everything you will provide?
Studio you can download. I'll suggest you how to download the Studio. Okay.
Okay.
You can download the open source Studio, and you can start practicing there.
Okay, okay. And I am the only person, or is there another person just to join in the class?
See, the thing is, I have 3 working hours in the 3 slots in the morning. Okay.
Okay.
Whereas some of the slots has come to an end, and for now you are the one.
Okay.
And we have one more guy to expect to join from US. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm providing the training to the different people in the different areas of the globe, Shekhar. Okay.
Okay.
Because if I provide the classroom training, right, then I'll be able to see some 8 to 9 people.
Okay.
For now, you are the one, but let's see.
Okay. And what about the job opportunities about the Talend?
Talend
Because
is having
right now,
huge market, huge market, huge demand. If you put that you have 3 years or 4 years experience, you will get 10 to 12 calls per day.
Okay.
As of now, I mean to say, because from
Yeah, the
last 2
thing.
months I am seeing two of my juniors were there. You know, they're getting offers like anything. It's very good in the market, and it has see the talent, whatever the talent that you are thinking of is very small. Talent data integration. But in the data integration, we have web service calls. We have XML, advanced XML file generation, XML team. A lot of things are there. Yeah. So it's a thing, and it will help you in growing your career also, because talent is not a single data integration. It has MDM, data quality, big data, everything.
Yes.
Okay. So
And
there you go ahead.
it is mainly for big data, right? The
No,
talent and
no. It's like Informatica. You can use Informatica
uh,
for data warehousing.
I think the connecting tools and everything, it is mainly derived for
No,
informatics. I mean to
no,
say no.
no. See,
Maybe
in Pentaho you have components, right? Right?
yes.
You will just drop the components, and you will connect them. Here also the
Yes.
same way.
Okay.
Big data means it is having components to deal with the data that is in the big data environment.
I think the talent having multiple components to deal with big data, right?
Yes, but that's what, it's a different product. Talent for
Okay.
data integration is one product. I'll show you just a second. See how it is just go to talent.com site. Okay. In this talent.com site, you will be having products. If you see in the products, these are the products. Open Studio for big data, Open Studio for data integration, Open Studio for data quality, ESB and DM. So here what are we going to work is on Open Studio for data integration.
Okay.
This is one product. And big data is another product, which deals actually purely with the big data environment.
Okay. Okay. The opportunity is also more for data integration, right?
Yeah, if it is talent means more, opportunities. I can say that.
Okay.
You can just check
And
with your friends also, because if you ask me, I'm telling you the correct information only, but you get it from your friends as well, or from some other internet sites as well. They will also tell the same information. Hello?
yeah, tell me. Tell me.
Yeah.
May I know the timings?
What time suits you?
I
I
am
mean,
free, so I'm.
only
I
morning
will.
times
Yeah.
only I can. Yeah.
Okay. No
7 to
issues
8.
because 7 to 8 is okay for me. No issues for that one.
Yeah. And just speak to what do you say, those guys. Okay, and I'm planning to start this from Monday. Yeah.
From Monday onwards.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Govardhan.
Okay.
And core Java
Fee,
component.
fees details and all. I think you will get to know from the trainer here, when the guy who arranges this meeting, right? They will
Yes,
be able
yes.
to help you with that matter. Yeah.
Okay. And one more thing is that core Java is not necessary to learn talent, right?
No. Not at all. You can trust
Okay.
me in that.
The thing is that I work for Pentaho because now there is no calls in comparative to other tools, so that's why I'm looking for the talent course.
Yes, talent will be very useful. You will come to know about that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And you are from
Hyderabad.
AP or okay, okay. You are from AP.
AP, Kadapa.
Okay. Okay, Nand. Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank.
Have a great day. Yeah. Bye.
Have a great day. Thanks, Guru. Thanks. Bye.
హలో
Yeah, tell me.
శేఖర్ గారు ఎలా
Hello.
ఉన్నారు
పర్లేదండి, బాగానే ఉన్నారు. ఓకే. అండ్ వాట్ అబౌట్ కోర్స్ ఫీ అండి?
కోర్స్ ఫీ వచ్చేసి 16,000 ఉంటుందండి, 16.
ఈజ్ ఇట్ నెగోషియబుల్? బికాస్
అదే అంతకన్నా తక్కువ ఎవరు చెప్పారండి. మ్యాక్సిమం మనమే తక్కువ.
లేదండి,
జనరల్ గా మార్కెట్ రేటు 20,000 ఉందండి, మనం అంత చెప్పలేదు, తక్కువే చెప్పండి. అరౌండ్ 15 తీసుకోండి.
అరౌండ్ 15. ఓకే సార్, నాకు ఒకసారి నేను సాయంత్రం కాల్ చేసి చెప్తాను. ఓకేనా? అది మండే నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేస్తామని చెప్తున్నారు.
ఓకే.
అండ్ నేను ఒక్కలేనా, ఇంకెవరైనా ఉన్నారా నాతో పాటు జాయిన్ అయ్యే వాళ్ళు?
ప్రజెంట్ అయితే మీరు ఒక్కరు ఉంటారండి. మిగతా అంటే వాళ్ళ టైం సూట్ అవ్వట్లేదు, వేరే వాళ్ళు యూకేన్ ఉంటున్నారు, వాళ్ళకు మీకు టైం సెట్గా, అందుకని మీకు ప్రజెంట్ సింగరే. అంటే వేరే వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు మర్చి, రేపు ఎల్లుండి డెమోలు ఉన్నాయి, వాళ్ళు కూడా జాయిన్ అయితే మీకు చేస్తాను.
ఓకే ఓకే, నాకు ఒకసారి ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేయండి రేపు ఎవరైనా ఉన్నారంటే. ఎందుకంటే నేను ఒక్కడిని కాకుండా నాకన్నా ఒక 1-2 people యాడ్ అయితే దట్ వెరీ మచ్ ఈజీ టు గెట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ క్లారిఫై చేసుకోవడానికి. కానీ మేబీ నాకు డౌట్స్ రాకపోతే వేరే వాళ్ళ డౌట్ నేను